The first inkling I had of anything being different was the tug driver or the gentleman who was going to push the airplane back said, "Hey, did you guys hear anything about a fire in the World Trade Center?" And I said, "No, we have no way of hearing anything about it." And we started our flight. We taxied out about a quarter of the way around the airport, and that was the second unusual thing I saw. At that time, 9 o'clock in the morning was a very, very quiet time. So as I taxied around the corner, I noticed almost like 10 or 11 airplanes in front of me, which I thought was highly unusual. I'd never seen it. I'd flown that flight a number of times and never seen more than 2 airplanes in front of me.
So had there only been a few planes waiting for takeoff, Flight 23 may well have been airborne, and quickly.
And then we heard over the radio, hey, an airplane had flown into World Trade Centers. As a pilot, the assumption was this has got to be somebody in a small airplane fooling around trying to do something stupid, like maybe fly between them or something, and he hit one. Then a few minutes later, we heard again, somebody made a radio call saying, no, there was actually an airliner that flew into one of the World Trade Centers. That was staggering. I made another PA announcement to the passengers that there would be an extensive delay, and I'd keep them posted.
Even before the first plane hit the tower, people in charge of monitoring aircraft at United and American knew there were hijackings. As United 23 moved toward the runway, United dispatch sounded the alarm.
The next thing that happened was probably the important thing of the day. I got a message from our dispatch controllers that kind of shook us up a bit.
My name's Edward Ballinger. I'm an aircraft flight dispatcher for United Airlines. So my job was to get the airplanes for my company safely to their destination. I sent a group message to all my flights in the air. Beware cockpit intrusion. And every airplane got that message.
Carol and I looked at each other, and that's when we started getting a sense that something was seriously wrong and that somebody might be making a threat against the airplane. We used our suitcases and wedged them between the door into the cockpit and a bulkhead, so that basically the only way anybody can get in the cockpit from that point on would be literally to break the door down. We have a couple items in the cockpit that we could use as weapons. One is a fire extinguisher, which I gave to Carol, and I said, if somebody does break through that door, hit him in the face with it. We also have a crash axe for ripping out panels in case of a fire. And I was going to take care of anybody that made it through the door.
He's going to take care of him.
The next thing I remember was my first flight attendant called me, on our intercom and said, I don't know what's going on, but I just want to let you know we have 4 guys sitting in first class, and it just seems a little strange.
I think this dude is going to jerk him off.
Passengers and crew were frantically dialing family members, telling them they were okay and desperately seeking information.
I got my phone and I spoke to my husband, and he said that was one of you guys. That was a commercial airplane that has just crashed into the building. And I spoke to the captain, and he said, everyone get in your seats, make sure this cockpit, no one comes near it, it's got to be secure.
"9/11
And then a couple minutes later, I described to people what I thought was the most unusual radio call I heard in my career, which was the Kennedy ground controllers. So you followed their instruction. Kennedy ground control came on and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, the airport is officially closed and we've been ordered to evacuate this facility. You are on your own."
The captain announced that they were closing the airport. There seemed to have been another airplane that had hit another building in New York.
Carol and I looked at each other and shook our heads. I guess we're going back to our terminal. And it was disbelief.
It was organized pandemonium. We eventually got back to the gate and we told the passengers that the airport was being evacuated. They were to get their belongings and leave immediately. And of course, they didn't need any encouragement.
They opened the door to let everybody out, and as I'm handing out jackets to passengers in the business class, one passenger asked me, did they get the White House? I said, I would have no idea.
We moved the bags out of the way, and there was a little peephole. I looked through, and the airplane was completely empty. All I saw was a United mechanic waiting for me. And when I opened the door, he says, "All right, guys, you'll have to get off the airplane. I've been ordered to lock up the airplane." So we did just that.
As we deplaned, we made sure lavatories were clear, every row was clear, there was not a person left on that plane.
So the plane was empty and locked. The airport was being evacuated. No one knew if Kennedy Airport itself would become a target, so people were scrambling. And that's what made an observation from below extremely suspicious.
People on the ground, baggage people or somebody that worked on the ground there, saw people running in the aircraft.
By this time, the United 23 crew was connecting dots. The person in first class disguised as a woman. The passengers who argued with the flight attendant about taking off quickly without food. The person profusely perspiring in business. The request to enter the cockpit. The reference to terrorists hitting the White House. The two mysterious people who were seen in the cabin after the plane was fully empty and the door locked. There were a
Pretending
lot
to
of
be a
dots.
woman is
So I
crazy.
marched off
Don't they mean
into our
trans?
chief pilot's office, and I described what had happened with the 4 people that had gotten off the airplane. And I think shortly after I left, he called the FBI.
The flight crew was shuttled to a nearby hotel where they spent the night, shaken by the terrorist attack and what could have happened had United 23 taken off.
The day after, we were all called by FBI telling us that they needed to interview us regarding the incidents of what had happened on the airplane. We ended up getting interviewed by the FBI, and they came to our hotel rooms and individually talked to us. I did tell them that I felt there were some suspicious people on the airplane. And I pointed out exactly
She's discriminating
the 4
now.
people in first class and 2 gentlemen in business, but the one that had the t-shirt on that had uncontrollable perspiration. I
Maybe
did
he's
tell
just
them
afraid
that.
of heights.
The first thing they asked me was why the floor hatches were open on the airplane. I know there was a hatch in the floor forward of my seat at door 1 left. I know that hatch led down to the electronics for the cockpit, and the hatch is big enough for a large person to look down in there. About 20 minutes After we left, the agents saw something funny going on the inside of the aircraft, and they'd had somebody board the aircraft, and they found the hatches open in the floors. If the hatches were open, the people could not have gotten off the aircraft because the hatches were just too big to get around. They had to be opened after everyone had gone off the aircraft.
They'd ask questions like if I noticed the rug had been turned up around the hatch by the cockpit. When the SWAT team had come and opened the door, they found that the hatch that goes down into the area where all the equipment is, the electronics and all that, the hatch had been opened.
When I was talking to the FBI and they told me those floor hatches were open, I couldn't breathe. I tried to figure out how those hatches could be opened unless there was somebody down in the electronics area, and they opened it after we left the aircraft.
Diabolical work.
Maybe somebody was trying to get on the airplane without being noticed, and it could possibly be that there was evidence on the airplane they wanted to get rid of. Whether it be box cutters in the seats or knives or weapons, I have no idea. But somebody could have entered the airplane through the electronics bay up into the cabin and removed whatever evidence they wanted to and then simply left the airplane.
My name is Steve Giordano. I'm a pilot for the Nomadic Aviation Group. We do aircraft flight test and repositioning. This is a Boeing 767 aircraft, the same aircraft as United Flight 23. We're in the front of the aircraft here in the 767, and this is the access to the E&E compartment. The E&E compartment is accessible really easily from the ramp. It's as simple as pulling down the handle and then retracting the door here, and then basically just hoist yourself up into the airplane like so. So now I'm in the electronics compartment here, the E&E compartment, which is forward of the cargo pit. This is where all the aircraft radios and electrical equipment is located. And then right here is the hatch that gets us right onto the main deck of the aircraft. This is normally covered, but if there's a carpet, the carpet is always movable here because this is the way that we get in and out of an aircraft if we don't have ground support equipment with stairs. So it's a pretty easy process, really. It's simple. There's actually a ladder, and it makes it real easy. You just climb right up inside, and now we're here in the main cabin. Here's the main entry door of the aircraft, and the first class cabin's right here. So it's real easy to just have full access to the aircraft right from the E&E compartment. So from the first class cabin, you just walk right through the entry here and get back onto the ladder and right back into the E&E compartment. And from the electronics compartment here again, it's just as simple as going back to the hatch in order to get out, just like that. Then I'm back right onto the tarmac and I can walk away and blend in with the crowd.
Sick.
The airplane was locked and sealed when I left the airplane, so something else was going on that I cannot explain. Something was going on there that should not have been going on.
You raise a theory that there may have been people in uniform of some sort, catering, baggage, whatever, who came up through that hatch into the cabin, possibly to remove weapons or box cutters, whatever. Can you think of another rational theory, possibility?
Honestly, no. I can't think of another reason why somebody would do that.
The FBI wanted to take us to show us a lineup of people at the Port Authority. They got us all in a van, windowless van. I felt like we were getting snuck into this van and driven over to the Port Authority offices where everyone, I mean, gates were locked and guarded with armored military that had machine guns or whatever rifles they were using. We were escorted into one room where there were those double windows that you could see in but not out. and asked us if we could identify any of the people that were behind the window. I could not identify anyone.
After Kennedy Airport was shut down, authorities searched various airplanes, including the one parked next to United 23, another 767 that was not scheduled to take off during that critical time period.
The chief pilot reported to me that they had found box cutters on the airplane, and it was coincidentally just one number off mine. He asked me the tail number of the airplane I was flying, or the nose number we call it. I gave it to him, and he said, well, I just want to let you know that we found 2 box cutters in the seat pockets in first class on the airplane next to it, which was the tail number was 1 digit off. If somebody was on the ground cooperating with them, they just simply made a mistake and put the box cutters on the wrong airplane.
My name is Lynn Spencer. I'm a former airline pilot and a flight instructor and an aviation safety investigator. I'm an author of a book about the air events of September 11th. During my research, it was made very evident to me from the highest levels of our government, members of the FBI, senior federal aviation officials, that there were more than just the 4 planes. They also shared with me some of the items that were found on other airplanes that didn't get off the ground on that day. The items that I was told had been found on planes were box cutters, specifically.
I believe that it's a reasonable assumption to think that those box cutters were meant for my airplane, not the one next to me. You have people that clean the airplane, people that load food on the airplane, that have access to the airplane. If somebody was in cooperation with the group, they could have been put there. There are a host of people that have access to the airplane. It wouldn't be the hardest thing in the world to get on an airplane like that. It's the one thing that makes me think that there's a good chance that somebody was plotting to try to use our airplane as a weapon of mass destruction.
United 23 would have become airborne right about the time of the other hijacked aircraft on September 11th. And there's very little doubt in my mind that United 23 was the 5th airplane.
Then what's up with the...
So where did the United 23 passengers go? The ones who aroused suspicion on the part of the flight crew.
The fuck they at?
The FBI told the pilot there were 7 passengers on its radar.
The only thing they really said to me was the fact there were 7 people on the airplane, and then wanted to know everything I did, everything I said, everywhere I went. There were the things I related to them, the gentleman, his wife, and a small baby. The FBI didn't go into any length about the 4 gentlemen on the flight. They simply were described as Arabs. And I'm assuming he meant Saudis, but I think he indicated they were going to be questioned.
As for whether they were questioned, we don't know. The pilot doesn't know. The crew doesn't know. The FBI wasn't telling them. And they certainly weren't
Imagine
telling
he
us.
was like, we don't
have requested information about Flight 23. We even filed a Freedom of Information request. We did not get a reply.
Nobody is forthcoming with what I think is a simple statement. No,
Freedom
these
of
were
Information
people on the flight.
request.
Forget about it. I don't know why that information can't be released. If they were involved, then I could understand why that information isn't being released.
Did the 9/11 Commission ever contact you?
No. No one in the government has contacted me about the event outside of that one interview from the FBI.
The 9/11 Commission was unprecedented in scope and resources, taking nearly 3 years to write a report that was nearly 600 pages long.
What?
The staff poured through 500,000
Open it.
pages of documents and interviewed 1,200 people in 10 countries.
Bro.
Yet United 23 was never mentioned, not even once.
There's
in the
literally no
official
fucking
report.
way. Who
I really
closed
can't
this?
speak to why the 9/11 Commission didn't pursue information on Flight 23. When I looked at what they covered and what they didn't cover, it seemed to me as if when they had something they really couldn't explain, they didn't dig deeper. They just kind of left it alone.
I'm Bob Kerry, former senator from Nebraska and former member of the 9/11 Commission.
Huh?
We didn't identify the possibility of a fifth plane, as your
Yeah, I'm about to have
documentary
one.
suggests. But we identified a number of other things that were worthy of investigation, we thought, that we just simply didn't have time to get it done. We just didn't have the time, for example, to find out precisely the involvement of the Saudis or precisely the involvements of the Iranian. And most of those things were identified in the report itself as things that Congress should follow up on.
My name is Carolyn Maloney. I'm a former member of Congress.
ChatGPT.
I represented mainly the east side of Manhattan between 1993 to 2023. I'm deeply concerned that there could be the fifth plane. I would say that the Intelligence Committee and Congress should look at the intelligence reports that came out from this investigation that took place.
As for United, well, as pilots say, radio silence.
Radio silence.
The only communication I have from United, official communication, were from the flight manager and the chief pilot. There's been nothing that United Airlines has said to me. I understand that there are significant forces going on with the government of our government, foreign governments, the Saudis, that might make it better for them not to release any information.
We also asked United for comment about the 7 passengers the FBI honed in on, about the hatch being opened, all of it. United had no comment.
I now believe that it is more likely than not that we were the 5th airplane.
The individuals on his plane were obviously terribly traumatized by it. They thought they were going to be a 5th plane. Whether they were or not, I simply don't know.
AK-47 wasn't going to let us fly home just to fly home. United wanted us to work the flight. And if we were good enough to fly on their airplane, we were good enough to work their airplane. And I told them I was in no condition, physically or mentally, to be able to be a flight attendant.
Most of the flight attendants suffered deep emotional scars and couldn't do their jobs. They filed for disability and say the airline fought them tooth and nail.
They sent us to numerous doctors, diagnosed with PTSD. They still fought. Doctors looked in my eye and told me I was not telling the truth. I was lying.
That's insane.
This wasn't that big of a deal. We had to get lawyers to get any compensation if we wanted to stay off on a sick leave. I felt
that's crazy.
That nobody had my back.
'Cause no one did, my girl.
I am Bruce Gelber, and I represented the number of the flight attendants on Flight 23 on 9/11. United took the position that their stress was no different than everybody's. So that if everybody in the world who watched what happened that day was allowed to file a claim against their employer for workers' comp, that it would break the system. And I had to proceed under the theory that their stress was unique, different than the general public. And I prevailed on that. And so after a number of years of litigation, adversary, medical examinations, and the like, we prevailed, obtaining permanent disability awards.
And in signing the paperwork for the $4,000
Permanent disability
for my
awards
medical
is
bill,
crazy.
I could no longer work for United or its subsidiaries again. I was basically fired. I had flown for them for 31 years, and I probably would have stayed with them longer. I loved my job, but I wasn't given the choice.
It's been 21 years, and it still stays with me. The terrifying, horrific events and the way I was treated by a company that I was loyal to for 30 years. And I decided, I just said, couldn't do anymore. I had retired in 2002.
Man, listen, I heard a lot of those 9/11 people were scammers.
And the way that we were treated was abominable.
I heard that a lot of the people
So it was
who
time
filed
to
for permanent disability on the
leave that
9/11
job that
shit were
I worked so
all
hard
scam. Not
for.
all,
I think
but majority
it's
was
the
scammers. Like
trauma that you've
niggas
done a very good
going
job
to
of
jail
showing
and shit.
It continues. People have not gotten over this. Who were here?
I heard that some
either
people
on
went
that
to
day
jail because niggas
or in
was
a
driving
plane
like
or somehow
Lambos
directly
and.
associated with lost a loved
Oh my
one.
God!
It doesn't really
9/11.
matter.
Let's buy a
There's
Lamborghini.
a wide amount of trauma that still exists in the United States as a consequence of these attacks.
I want you all to know this nation stands with the good people of New York City.
Nueva York!
As we mourn the loss of thousands of our citizens. I can hear you. And the people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
The people. What does he mean, the people? Didn't George Bush do 9/11?
Tonight we are a country awakened to danger and called to defend freedom. Our grief has turned to anger, and anger to resolution. As a symbol of America's resolve, we will rebuild New York City.
Nueva York! You fucking right, we will rebuild New York City. The greatest city in the world, man. Come on, stop playing with the boy. Nueva York! What else is next? What else they got up on here? The real killer. What's all this about?
Stop into Raymore and Flanagan today and say goodnight to nagging bed-aches with the Sealy Posturepedic Collection.
As I record this video, it's June 10th of 2025, which means that summer's right around the corner. By this time of year, people have already started making plans for how they're going to spend their summer weeks, whether it be staying in their cities or traveling abroad. If you're in New York City like a lot of us, there's plenty of different ways that you could spend that time. Back when I was a kid, and even now, many families were making their way over to Coney Island to cool down at the beach, the food, and of course, the rides. I make today's video respectfully.
Pitches. I mean, yeah, the rides.
Young woman who lost her life far too soon. In fact, it was an incident that unfolded back in 1999, around the same time of year. I make today's video not to bring back any bad memories, but to point out that negligence can exist in many forms, and it's often the innocent who pay the price. My sincere condolences go out to the family and friends of Nadine Caban, who we'll be discussing today. I do have to warn that today's video will contain details that can be hard to listen to. Please keep that in mind before jumping in. Your discretion is strongly advised.
Coney Island, the world's greatest fun frolic, with its beach miles long, all peppered with people. The place where merriment is king.
People.
Let's mingle with 1 million folks who are just like all of us. 100,000 youngsters and oldsters, all swimming, playing, or resting, all getting their share of the sun and the fun. All
can you imagine, gang? It dead ass don't live like that. It don't, bro. You will never see the beach like that ever again, bro.
At Coney Island, world's biggest barrel of fun.
Shit, nigga, I remember when I was younger, bro. I went to the Coney Island, bro. Shit was packed.
From Brooklyn and the Bronx, from Manhattan,
packed.
from Kansas City, from Paris, all coming to Stillwell Avenue, the station for Coney Island.
This is what made me grow a fear of having back hair.
Welcome to Coney Island, playground of the world.
far back as we can remember, millions from all over have made their way to Surf Ave in Brooklyn, New York to visit Coney Island. Not just to cool off during those sweltering summer days, but to take in the sights and sounds of the thousands enjoying themselves. For many, it's tradition. My family originally lived in the Farragut houses, and every Sunday, like so many other families in the city, my grandparents had all the kids at the beach. When I was born, my mom and aunts did the same thing with me and my cousins. Tradition. People from all over still continue to make memories here. Many can just walk from their homes, while others make the trek from the other boroughs. It can be a long ride depending on where you're coming from, especially by subway. But when you finally made it and saw that Wonder Wheel in the distance, it was always worth it. In June of 1999, a teenage girl took a rare Friday night away from her responsibilities and wanted to top the evening off by going to one of her favorite places, Coney Island. It was somewhat of a tradition of her own. But while so many visits to the park in the past ended with happy times with friends and family, this night would end in tragedy.
She was just here to have fun, and this is the first ride that she went into, and an incident happened.
Nadine Gavan was born on June 27th of 1981 and resided in the Canarsie section of Brooklyn, New York. She was said to be the youngest of 4 children, the baby of the family. She was described as sweet, loving, outgoing, and friends said she was always full of life, always known to have a great sense of humor and an infectious laugh. She had no problem making friends, and she lived to have fun. Since young, Nadine always had big dreams. It started when she was just 10 years old. It was that Christmas of 1991 when she received her first ever beauty parlor playset as a gift. She loved it more than anything. She would spend hours playing with it, using it on her sisters and her dolls. She kept at it, and would end up becoming very good at styling hair as she got older. According to her father, it didn't matter if it was flat twists, curls, or braids. Nadine knew how to do it all. She would do her family members' hair for special occasions and holidays, eventually building up a reputation in the neighborhood. She kept her skills sharp by practicing on anyone who wanted to be styled. It's what she would become known for, and she only got better at it. Nadine attended PS 224, followed by IS 218, and South Shore High School later on. While there, she made many friends and built up a similar reputation among students when it came to her hairstyling. She would spend hours on someone if she had to. It didn't matter how long it took. She always wanted to give people exactly what they asked for. It was just her way of preparing for the future, because her biggest dream was owning a beauty salon of her own, and she was on her way to making that happen. By June of 1999, Nadine was 17 years old and had more responsibilities than the average teen. She was now
Where
the
do they
mother
get
to a
all this
10-month-old
information
son,
from?
and she loved him more than anything. It was said that no matter where she went, she had her son with her. It was a challenge, but she remained focused on her future, looking to provide for her son and give him a good life. Nadine had taken some time away from school throughout her pregnancy, and it wasn't easy to go to classes and be a parent. But she did her best, and she had a plan.
Why she look
She was
different
getting
in that
prepared to
picture?
go to a program to get her GED, which she
She
would have
look-
completed in the spring of the year 2000.
Nah, she look like
also
she
had
could be
plans of
Spanish,
attending a
Puerto Rican.
hairdressing
I ain't gonna
school
lie.
to get her certification. While some moments could prove to be difficult for her, she had support and lots of love from her family. They were all very close.
That's just how
Her
a lot of
family was always
Latinas
there to
look
help
back in
her
the
no
day.
matter
Word
what
is
she
bone.
needed. But it was no surprise to them when they saw that Nadine rarely took time away from her son or her other responsibilities. She was truly attached to her child, and she really wouldn't have it any other way. By the beginning of June of '99, the school year was starting to wind down for everyone across the 5 boroughs, and the first day of summer was right around the corner. It's a time of year many of us will look forward to. No schoolwork, no getting up early to deal with math and history, just making plans for how to spend those summer weeks. They tend to fly by. It feels like by the time July hits, the rest of the summer just comes and goes. Nadine
That's
was
a
looking
fact.
forward to it, but her
That's a
responsibilities came
fucking
first.
fact.
Her family, her future, and her child were always her main priority.
The Knicks.
On Friday, June 11th of 1999, Nadine spent a few hours doing her cousin's hair and having dinner. She then decided to do something that she rarely did: take the night off. She
Suck
left
some-
her son
oh.
safe with family for a few hours and then watched the Knicks game. to finish the night off on a high note.
The
they made their way
Knicks.
to their next destination, Coney Island, Astroland Park.
Astroland Park is
Face it,
crazy.
Your life is a complete mess right now. The laundry's not folded. You haven't exercised in weeks. You're spending.
Once they made it to Surf Island, Nadine made her way along with her sister and the sister's fiance to the boardwalk. It was a cool 58 degrees as they walked around, but New York was heating up in other ways because the energy in the city that night was explosive, with thousands of New Yorkers excited with the Knicks' big win over the Pacers. After the game was over, she figured there was no better way to spend the night. Coney Island was one of her favorite places to be. The sounds of the arcade games, the food,
And then the Pacers end up smoking us.
the children running around
2025.
enjoying themselves. It was exactly what she needed. Nadine told one of her sisters that she wasn't feeling too well and didn't want to get on any of the crazier rides that she normally would. Some people prefer roller coasters for the thrill, while others prefer something with a view, like the Wonder Wheel or the Astro
Bro,
Tower.
I wonder
that still
if they
existed back then.
ever
She just wanted to take it
reva-
easy, and it didn't really matter to her because she was just happy
like
to be
redid the
out
park.
and be with her family. She went to Coney Island with them every summer, visiting multiple times a year. Tradition. Just after a few minutes of being there, Nadine knew exactly what ride she wanted to get on first. Let's just go on the Himalaya. It's a safe ride, Nadine told her sister. So that's where
The
they were headed to
Himalaya.
next. She was referring to the Super Himalaya. The Super
The hell is
Himalaya
that?
consisted of 24 cars referred to as buckets, joined by metal couplings that connected them. Cars went in a circle on the central axis platform that would shift up and down as the ride picks up speed.
Oh,
and music
okay, I know
plays
what that
loudly.
is.
The
Oh
ride
yeah,
would then
those
slow
is
down,
my
and just when you thought it was over, it would start going in reverse. and it went
reverse.
just as fast.
Yeah,
It was a favorite
yeah, I
for
like
many.
those rides
For
too.
anyone visiting Coney
That's one of
Island
my
during
favorite
those
ones
years,
too.
You remember this ride. Theme parks across the country have their own versions under different names, but the energy at the Himalaya was different. It was a few steps above some of the tamer rides at the park, but nothing too extreme. The ride had a DJ who would spin live music, the sounds of hip-hop and R&B blaring from the speakers.
Yes,
People would
sir.
stand online waiting their turn, just listening to the music as riders screamed from the thrill and exhilaration of the Himalaya speed. Even if you weren't getting on, it was just a good time seeing everyone enjoy themselves and listening to some of your favorite songs. Nadine stood on the line with her sisters, waiting until the ride came to a halt and it was their turn. They had been on the ride many times before. They walked over to the cars, with two of her sisters taking one car and her sitting a few cars ahead of them by herself. She sat in car number 19. Once everyone was in their seats, a worker would make sure everyone was safely locked in, and the ride began. It went in circles, going up and down at a decent speed, gradually getting faster. The slopes of the track combined with the speed made for a satisfying thrill. The ride then slowed down, and the DJ spoke directly to the crowd. "We're gonna take you backward," he said. The ride started to go in the opposite direction, quickly picking up speed. The joyful screams from riders continued, only to be disrupted by the unexpected. Suddenly, a loud groaning could be heard. The ride slowed down for just a second before getting faster, but it wasn't running smoothly anymore. The cars moved violently side to side, back and forth, with people holding on to the lap bars for dear life. The strong smell of something burning was in the air. It didn't take very long for panicked riders to realize that they were in danger. A loud snap could be heard through the screams and the music. Then another snap, and another. It happened in seconds. Nadine's sister's fiance, who was on the line waiting to get on the Himalaya himself, jumped onto the platform as soon as he saw the ride becoming out of control. That groaning sound became louder as the ride went on. To his shock, he could see that part of the ceiling was starting to cave in. He yelled at the
Nah.
operator to stop the ride, but it was going too fast and impossible to stop. As they spun in circles, they could hear a loud boom, the sound of the Himalaya's cars starting to crash. Riders would start to jump off the ride, just trying their best to make it to safe ground, with splintered wood coming from above. Another loud crash of cars would send several of them into the air before the ride came to a halt, leaving the riders that remained surrounded by smoke and wreckage. Nadine's sisters sustained injuries, but were able to crawl out from under the debris, but they noticed that Nadine was missing. My sister, her sisters yelled, trying to find her and pull her out with them. People at nearby rides ran for cover, believing that the entire structure would collapse. As onlookers screamed and ran to safety, they would come to find Nadine. She was hanging from the ride about 8 to 10 feet from the ground. More panic set in as paramedics and firefighters rushed to the Himalaya, making their way to where Nadine was. She had a cut on her head and blood on her neck, but she was conscious. "What's happening to me? Please, stay with me," she said as she was being freed. Her sisters watched in horror as firefighters worked to get her from under the wreckage. They were eventually able to free her. They immediately put her in an ambulance and rushed her to St. Lutheran Medical Center. She was wheeled into the emergency room with at least one of her sisters at her side. She asked for her to stay with her, but once they reached a certain point, her sister could only watch as Nadine was taken into a separate part of the hospital. She was still breathing and talking, and they genuinely thought that she would be okay. But the injuries that she sustained were far more serious than anyone could ever imagine. It turns out that as the ride lost control and chaos unfolded, Nadine was hurled 15 feet through the air off the track, landing on another car. She was pinned between the car, wall, and track on an elevated side of the platform, with another car landing on top of her. She was crushed, which will result in blunt force injuries, with massive damage to her liver and spleen. She also sustained serious head injuries, but the blunt force impact to her abdomen would cause internal bleeding that just couldn't be stopped. Just about an hour after getting to Coney Island, out of nowhere, Nadine was gone. She was pronounced deceased at 12:35 a.m. on June 12th of 1999, just 2 weeks prior to her 18th birthday.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hockley from Sandy Hook Promise. I know this is hard to
Man,
hear, but
nobody
it's
give a
important.
fuck about you.
The news of what took place spread very quickly, leaving Nadine's family and friends very much stunned and in utter shock. For a night of fun to end so tragically, it was devastating, to say the least. The first question on everyone's mind was, how did this happen? One story says someone held a flag on the ride as it spun, and it collided with the rafters, causing the debris to rain down onto the track, but this was found to not be the reason. Witnesses stated they saw a piece of wood from the roof of the ride come down onto the ride as it moved, landing onto the track after. But investigators felt that the real reason might have been due to the metal couplings that joined the cars together. The coupling to Nadine's car had apparently snapped off somehow, causing the cars to become separated, all while the platform continued to rotate at an incredible speed. The pieces of metal fell to the track and caused the cars to go off the track and into the air, resulting in the chaotic scene. The horrific incident will result in a total of 8 seriously injured and 1 deceased. An investigation was held regarding maintenance on the Himalaya, with records saying that the ride was last inspected on March 27th of that year, nearly 3 months before. The owner of the ride was then given a certificate to keep the ride running to the end of summer, Coney Island's busiest months. How deep the inspection went was never fully disclosed, but it's clear that something was missed. Either the metal couplings and the entire structure weren't all checked thoroughly, or they were, and the ride was allowed to run anyway. Many felt that because of this alone, negligence was the biggest factor here. It was also stated that as the ride began to spin out of control, the ride's operator wasn't paying attention and speaking to someone as it happened. By the time he had been alerted, it was too late to do anything. The idea that this was negligence was further strengthened when a crucial maintenance log kept by the ride's owner suddenly went missing. This
That's
log would
type
have shown
fire, I'm
exactly
not
what
gonna
was
lie.
checked on the rides and when, but it was nowhere to be found. The owner was hit with a violation for not producing the maintenance log, which meant he could have been faced with up to $10,000 in fines, but it's unclear what he paid, if anything at all. The Super Himalaya crash was ruled as accidental. The following footage is from hours after the crash and from the next morning.
I wonder how this motherfucker even get all this, the information, the videos, all types of shit. It must take a lot of fucking work to try to put this shit together. Word is bone. Was she the only one who died? Look at that old ass police car, bro. You think that shit was pulling anybody over? Ah, smoke that shit, nigga.
She was just here to have fun, and this is the first time we went to, and an incident happened.
She's very enthusiastic. You know, she had a lot of life in her. She had a lot of spunk. It's a shame that it had to end this way. Very young. You know, she was 17. She had a 10-month-old son. She loved her son. Wherever she went, her son went. And it's just a shame that it ended this way.
I mean,
I don't know. I'm not going to be getting on these adult rides here. That's probably the answer for me right now. Unfortunately, I like the rides, but I'll hold off.
To think that somebody can come
that's
out
a
and try to
white
enjoy
black
themselves
nigga.
and end up, you know, dead. And that's really
You ever
bad.
seen a white nigga with curly hair like that?
Because they're not safe, and my son be getting on the rides too, so it's not safe for my son.
The morning after the tragedy, the news continued to spread, with word of the accident making it to the front page of the papers and being talked about all over the news. It left many with a sense of fear, not knowing if they could trust these rides anymore. It wasn't just Nadine's friends or family who felt this way. It was anyone who walked through the park. You could hear people talking about it, wondering exactly what went wrong. It just wasn't a risk anyone was willing to take. Mayor Giuliani would come under fire for his comments about what happened that night. He said the following: "It's a real tragedy. Rides are intended to be frightening, so they carry with them a certain amount of danger. You take that risk when you get on a ride like this," he told reporters. But the truth was, every ride at every theme park is supposed to be safe. That's why certain measures are taken during inspections. There was no sign on this ride that said you're risking your life by getting on it. If that were the case, it wouldn't be very popular. No one gets onto one of these rides and says to themselves, "I might not make it out alive." His comments were viewed as incredibly insensitive and careless. Less than 24 hours after the accident, once the park opened, friends of Nadine and even people who didn't know her made their way over to the Super Himalaya as she had just hours before. They left flowers, cards, and Puerto Rican flags on the fence of the ride.
Boricua. I knew she was Puerto Rican. Shit, like I said, my mom looked like that too back in the day.
It was hard to believe that she was really gone. Her parents and sisters expressed how heartbroken they were when
And she was a Knicks fan, bro. That's
She
crazy.
went just to have fun, and she ended up dead. I am so angry. This should not have happened. We want answers, and we want answers now. I loved her so much. She was my baby. She was such a great kid, said Nadine's mother as she fought to get the words out through her cries. I can't stop crying. She was my life. I just can't believe that she is gone. My heart hurts so much. She was my baby. We are so angry about this, and we have hired a lawyer, said her father. The rest of her family and friends felt the same. It was made evident by their comments to journalists. Dealing with the immense grief was bad enough, and seeking answers as to what led to all of this wouldn't be easy. A wake was held for Nadine on Tuesday, June 15th, and Wednesday, June 16th of 1999 at the Ponce Funeral Home on Atlantic Avenue. Friends and family paid their respects, still very much in shock that this ever happened. She was here one day and gone the next, something no one could ever prepare for. She was then laid to rest at Cypress Hill Cemetery in Brooklyn, New York, on Thursday, June 17th of 1999. At the end of it all, it was stated that a combination of factors are what caused this tragedy. The piece of wood that people had seen coming from the top became stuck between the track and wheel of one of the cars. It was that wood falling onto the track that caused the metal couplings on Nadine's car to break. With the ride going full speed, the result was a catastrophic scene that took her life.
Why is Amazon paying me $63,000 a month? Well, I didn't make this kind of money selling.
But there were still so many questions. What exactly was done during inspections months prior for this to be missed? Were there signs of the top of the ride starting to fall apart? If there were signs, how is a ride allowed to operate if it's in that condition? Was there a real inspection done at all? Questions that lingered in the minds of many. It was impossible to just take someone's word for it. This was someone's life, not something you could just brush off. Not to mention when those maintenance logs couldn't even be found to provide any type of insight. What happened at Coney Island in 1999 was also happening all over the country around the same time. Countless reports of people getting seriously injured and losing their lives on rides deemed safe, both before and after Nadine. This was to be taken seriously, not to be ignored, and not to be swept under the rug. In 2025, you'll still find Coney Island and Luna Park to be flooded with families from all over. In a lot of ways, that feeling you got way back when is still there. A place that has had vast changes over the decades, but manages to keep its old charm. It'll always be one of my favorite places. You get this strong feel of nostalgia and irreplaceable memories whenever there. I told today's story not to strike fear into anyone looking to have a good time or to bring back bad memories, but to tell Nadine's story. A young lady with her whole life ahead of her who visited one of her favorite places like so many of us have for years. She went there that night never knowing that this would be the outcome. She trusted this park, trusted those operating the ride, trusted that she was in safe hands. She should still be here today. She leaves behind friends and family that will always remember her and never let her memory fade. My deepest
R.I.P. R.I. Pizzle, pass the nizzle. Ooh, that shit was crazy. Wait, what? Yeah, you pretty much got unlock fucking everything. Air to ground missiles. Shit, sound fire. I'm crying. Isn't that dude an actor? I feel like I used to be nice in the jet. Now, I could be just saying that, but I feel like I was playing the jet a
Strategy is
lot.
working. We now control more sectors than the enemy.
Oh yeah, they're getting crazy in B1.
Hostiles control more sectors. Is underway.
I thought I had a fucking scope. There you go.
I'm out.
Nah. That's crazy. What he killed me with? A bolt. Nah, he about to come finish me. Help. Help.
We have superiority in this battle. Make sure we maintain it. They control more sectors than us. This is the path to defeat.
Nah. Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Medic. Medic. Get in here, boys. Come on. Get in there, boys.
The resources have been expended. We have secured Alpha Sector.
I need a second here.
Delta Sector has been seized by hostiles.
Our strategy is working. We now control more sectors than the enemy. We are moving to attack Charlie 1.
They have secured Echo Sector.
We'll be able to block them across. Hostiles control more sectors.
How you just been? Oh nah. Damn, I got a claymore. I don't want that. What a fucking frag grenade. I don't want this either. Fucking my shit up, man. Damn, I gotta make it back in there. Fuck, man, this is fucked.
Charlie 2 under attack. We are assaulting Charlie 2. Begin your attack!
They are monitoring your progress.
Our troops have command of Alpha Sector.
Bitch. What you thought this was, man? I'm out here. Big dog out here, gang. Word is Bazon.
We have secured an objective.
fuck is that noise?
Stop the U.S. forces from conquering every sector.
I don't want to edit control mapping. I'm just trying to. Copy. To see, that's what I wanted right there. That's what I was looking to do. It's a little OD, so let's try 30. Nah, come on, gang. Oh shit.
Our enemy is uncoordinated. We're keeping control of more sectors. Enemy focusing on Bravo 1.
Oh my god, what was that? Damn. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding.
We have the advantage. Hold your objective.
I want to see what the war tape sound like. It's lit.
The battle goes well. We have conquered more sectors than our enemy.
Let's do it.
Rigging up protection.
say something? Oh, I thought you said something.
We have lost Delta Sector to the enemy.
Huh?
We have started an attack on Charlie 2.
Yeah, Battlefield.
Hostiles are committing their last reserves to the battle.
Nah, it's a different game. Yeah, and I actually like it. Okay, we're going crazy right now. Shit, I just got a triple kill. Let's go. You lit? Yeah. Oh nah. I got killed by a helicopter? Come on, gang. You up? Word. You don't want what you made? What you make? What's wrong with it?
We have superiority in this battle. Make sure we maintain it.
Come on. Oh nah. That was diabolical. Oh, it's lit.
They've occupied Charlie Sector. All U.S. forces retreating. Victory is
Oh, I
ours.
was about to say, like, what? Yo, what's good, gang? I was about to go crazy and the game just ended. I'm like, what the fuck? What it do, man? OTG? What's OTG? What the hell is that? This nigga playing off the grid. What the fuck is off the grid? What the hell is that, man? Did I unlock some shit? Equip. Fuck it. Equip. Some shit I got. So what kind of game is it though? Like, is it like COD? Is it like a battle royale type shit? Ooh, your boy getting some shit.
Now is the time.
Like COD and Apex together. Okay, so like a battle. Isn't Apex a battle royale game or nah? I don't know. He ugly as hell. I'm talking Biscuit. Biscuit? What's up, boy? Oh. Oh yeah, I could just imagine. Even with the short hair, I'm sure. He still got all that fur under there. It's the same map. Oh shit, I forgot to change the whatchamacallit what I'm playing. It's Battlefield 2042. The latest Battlefield that came out. Um it was I like playing Battlefield honestly, but this Battlefield when it came out originally it was like super ass. But I heard over the years that it got like really good, but I just never got back into like playing it because you know like once you. But I just saw that it was on the PlayStation Store for free, so I'm like, fuck it. If it's on the PlayStation Store for free and it got good, like why not try it? And I ain't gonna lie, bro. I've been playing this shit and it's dead ass
Remember,
good. It's way better, and
this
this
is
shit is
bigger than
fire.
us.
So it's called 2042 because it's like a futuristic Battlefield, but bro, you could, bro, facts. Battlefield get crazy, bro. So this one, it literally has all the battlefields combined in one, bro. You could literally use guns and characters from like fucking Battlefield Bad Company, Battlefield 3, 4, bro, all of them, all in one. That's why it's called 2042. And bro, this shit is literally fire. It has all the maps from every battlefield, all the guns, all the characters, all everything. Bro, Bad Company 1 and 2 was fucking fire on PS3, bro. Fire. And I've been going crazy in this shit. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I've been getting, bro, if you was here when the game, last game started, I've been going crazy. I think I definitely ended with like 20 kills, bro. There's no way I didn't. Hey, bro, this shit is like mad customizable, bro. Like, look at, you can press triangle, and I don't really have anything now, but bro, you can have like 2 scopes, 2 barrels, 2 kind of clips you could use, all types of shit, bro. This shit is fire. Yeah, I'm gonna like 2 birds free. Yeah, send me some shit. I might download, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've been on some shit where I've been just buying and downloading random games just try to find something new, bro. Cause like this GTA 6 got niggas on a chokehold, bro. Ain't no good games out, no nothing, bro. This shit is ass.
Hostile contacts engaged.
We now control Charlie sector.
It's a fact.
Take the objectives and come back.
Bro, and I love playing 2K, bro, but like that shit, it's getting literally every season is getting worse and worse and worse every season of 2K, bro. All the shit they keep saying they fixed it, it seems like they just make it worse. And I love playing 2K. Shit. Fucking Black Ops 7 got me depressed, nigga. Black Ops 6 is horrible. Why the fuck they gonna do Black Ops 7, bro? What makes them niggas wanna do that dumbass shit? Nah! I keep forgetting you can't drop shot like fucking COD. You could drop shot, but like it's like a little delay from putting your gun out. What's funny is that the character I'm using right now is it's an actor. It's that I don't even fucking, I ain't gonna lie to you, I can't even tell you a movie the nigga in right now, but I know who the fuck he is, and if you see his face, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm gonna die. Fuck! Let me see if I could. This dude, bro. You know who this is, right? You can't see? Can you see better now? Bro, what's this actor's name? Still can't tell. Bro. Y'all know who this actor is, bro. He's nah. Is he from what's that show? Damn. The one about drugs and the nigga snitching and shit. Is it Paid in Full? Is this dude from Paid in, is it that? I don't know, bro. But bro, come on. Now it's gonna bother me all night.
Status report. Hostiles aren't able to get a foothold. We are securing objectives.
Yes. You see how look at when I drop shot. You see how it takes the gun, he stops viewing? It's not like COD where it wouldn't do that. Exactly. That's why I died when I drop shot, cause I wasn't aiming no more. Look at all the fucking bullets and everything going. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm zip tire. Oh shit. Oh. Somebody, a medic. Medic. Well, the map is Brolic, so you could kind of consider it like Warzone, but it's literally domination, but in a big ass map. That's literally what it is. It's domination in a big ass map. Got tanks, jets, helicopters, all types of shit. And I wish someone would come fucking revive me, but I guess not. Yes. So the bullets, shit is crazy. And I'm literally like dodging them shits. What the fuck is that? Oh damn, I was gonna try to go revive that dude. Oh nah. Bitch. Fuck! This nigga got a fucking mounted gunner? Like, what the fuck? What's crazy is that this nigga Derry Deadass joined my TikTok, but I've been inviting this nigga all night and haven't joined the chat. And he got off. Perfect. Gotta love it. Medic! Medic! Ooh, I got you, my boy. I'm a medic. I'm a medic.
Let's get up. I got you.
Fuck! Throw it! Throw it! Damn. Requesting medic. Help! You a medic? Let's go! Let's go! Who the fuck? Bitch, you saw that nigga? Let's go! Who else? Who else? I got a grenade? Nah, damn. Oh! 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 I'm crying. We got killed by a nigga in a jet. Thanks. That's crazy. Medic! Medic! We got a couple niggas bleeding out. Fuck! Medic! Let's go.
I'm reloading.
I didn't know you could pick up other people's guns. Wow. By the same jet. What the f— Yeah, yeah. If I had a fucking wow. If I had a launcher.
Bravo sector is now ours. We have
Shit, let me see what
nearly
kind of
every
vehicle I could
sector.
get in. Oh, there's a jet available. Let's go. I'm lit. Ah, fuck. I forgot how to do this. Damn, I know you could change the view. Oh, fuck. How you change the view?
Delta sector is now.
I am shooting, my girl. What are you talking about? I'm trying my best. This is my first time back in a goddamn jet. Fuck! God damn it! You're making me nervous. It's my first time flying a jet in years. I can't even tell you the last time I played fucking Battlefield. Shit, I didn't even know the buttons. I was literally figuring out as I went along. Damn, I feel like they spawned me a little deep. Shit, it's a free game. Might as well download it. See if you like it. They do have where you could play like in smaller maps and shit like COD and whatnot. And there is a lot of people in this map. There's like 164 players right now in this map. Some shit like that. 164 or 20 something. Some shit like that. But it's over 100 people. I think it's 128. I'm pretty sure. What?
The enemy
There
has
is
Bravo
food over there though? I was busy as shit. And when I saw your text about the bathroom, I saw it literally like 3 hours later, so I didn't even bother to respond. I literally was beyond tired. I went to sleep. I came home. Yeah, and I was already tired, but like I wanted to like enjoy my night, so that's why I stood up and played and shit. And then I was just beat. Niggas had me doing mad shit today. I'm like, bro, this is not the day. Why the all days niggas wanna have me do mad shit today?
Hostiles assaulting Alpha 2.
It's super interested. He's super like interested. Like you touch him and he's like on it. Ooh! Ooh! Nah! You saw that, right? Yeah, that's getting clipped. The double to the nigga start shooting at me to the pistol? Come on, that was crazy. Yeah, like when I'm at work and I don't the two phones is kind of crazy. So I leave my phone in the van. Like, cause I already be having mad shit on me, like my other work phone, tablet, my tools, all types of shit. So like I just leave the phone in the car. Like I don't got time to be leaving my, you know, shit places and whatnot. So there's one less thing to worry about. And then I think, and I don't know, I think I gotta reconnect my watch to my phone because I swear to God I don't be getting messages on that shit, no nothing. Oh, come on. We won?
American forces
Let's
are
go.
retreating. Mission successful.
Let's go. really wonder why his thing is unplugged. Well, I guess I don't know how he didn't realize. I guess he's gonna have a surprise tomorrow morning,
Sunny,
right?
let's go.
Whoa. Carne asada.
Remember, this is bigger than us.
Yeah, what he said.
We're shipping you out to Doha, Qatar. Extreme conditions have caused a mass evacuation. But reports say Russian troops are moving into seized trucks that got caught in the sand. We can't be sure what's inside them, but it's important enough to secure the area and prevent a Russian occupation. Expect plenty of resistance. Good hunting. We now hold Sector Alpha. We have taken more sectors than they have. Make sure we don't lose our advantage. Sector Delta has been conquered by the enemy. Contact. Russian forces are on site.
Round one down.
Got one.
Sector Bravo secure.
Adobo sauce.
Ready to deliver supplies. Charlie objectives under control. Sector secure.
Damn.
Sector Alpha under Russian control. Hostiles spotted at Charlie 1.
Damn.
Spending resources fast. An objective is under attack. Situation.
Who and where? Wow.
Threat neutralized!
They are hitting Charlie 1. The enemy just secured Sector Bravo.
Hostile down!
If we don't stop them, they'll take every sector. They control Sector Charlie.
Wow.
Understood!
Just secured Sector Bravo. Good work. The majority of sectors are under our control. They're attacking one of our objectives.
What the fuck?
The hostiles have taken 50% loss.
Reloading!
Damn, bro.
The enemy They just took Sector Foxtrot.
That was even my fault, bro.
Our forces have taken more sectors than the enemy. This is how we defeat them.
Shit.
We have locked down Sector Bravo.
Delta 1 assault initiated by our troops.
Neutralized! Cover me! I'm reloading!
Enemy forces.
Nah. What? Come on.
If we don't conquer more sectors than them, we'll be defeated here.
Charlie 1 is under attack.
What? Oh my god, I didn't even see this dude.
One of our objectives has been attacked.
Sandstorm's coming in. Visibility will be compromised, so move with caution. Assault 1 begun by our forces.
Got another! Loading!
Our troops just captured Sector Golf.
We control more sectors than the enemy, but this battle is far from over.
Our forces have seized all of Sector Echo. Almost every sector is under our control. Keep it that way.
I got it! Transport drop requested. Position marked.
Request received. Assigning vehicle now. The enemy just conquered Sector Bravo. Their forces are dwindling. They captured Sector Charlie.
Hostile fire team, 300 meters. Strike that objective.
We'll monitor you from...
Attack! Attack! Everybody attack!
It's over.
Let's
Battle is
go.
won.
Peep. I will. Okay. This ain't real life. Oh, okay, it's right here.
Coming up. Got him.
Where at?
Woo! Did you slash him as soon as he came up? I ain't got no plate. I'm almost dead, bro. Oh shit. Ah!
Teammate death detected.
Come on!
Of course, it'd be a lot more impressive if you could do it again.